It's Monday.
Hello.
Hello, farewell. Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.
I do to you and you and you.
That's Sound of Music, correct?
It is. It's not hello,
So
it's goodbye.
I won the trivia for today.
I didn't know that was a part of the trivia. I have a prize.
Just tell me
for
I
you
won,
of
Virginia.
Nothing.
I
This
just
is your
want to know
prize.
that I won. I won.
Let's figure out what we're talking about today. Oh, we have a funny thing that we have prepped that it'll be up in a moment. We don't have it yet. So, I don't know. Popcorn, you're it. Tag.
It's 8:30 now and we're ready to go. Come hang out with your friends from the Sevenfold. We got Rachel, Jenny, Paris, and producer man Paul coming at you live to be with all of y'all. We're gonna make you laugh. Yeah, we're so hilarious, but don't forget about the Saints. Be serious. No, we stand once and we gonna stand again. Don't forget to comment and share with a friend. Here we are now, anything can happen. You gotta get ready, buckle up and strap in. It's time to get ready. Yeah, we're on a roll. Welcome, y'all, the Christian Anything Show.
We need the
We do. We really need it. We really do.
We can totally do that.
Just fun fact about myself, which I revealed to my friends yesterday. If I could have a redo on my life, I secretly want to be the world's most famous DJ.
DJ. Yeah.
What friends were you revealing this to? Because I don't remember this conversation.
It was in the group text. It was a little bit of a non sequitur because I said a thing and I was like, y'all watch this because nobody watched it. So I was like, watch it. And then Rachel was like, I like it. And then she sent another video and then said, my dream is to be a DJ. And it was like connected, you know.
Oh, was that like when we all went home and we all got off the phone?
It was the EDM guy.
Oh, right.
He's the EDM
Yes,
producer.
apparently this EDM guy who's a DJ actually has lots of, nugget words of wisdom. I was watching all his videos on like his suggestions and words of wisdom to other artists and stuff. And I was like, this is so good. Yeah, I went down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I like it.
I got nothing. I drank some ketones like probably about 45 minutes ago, really hoping that it would get the brain juices going. They're not there yet.
You've been doing good with like your ketovore.
I've been doing a good job.
Me too.
I have not been doing a good job. It's been carb city. Carb city. Carb city.
Carb city. Yeah, carb city.
I've been in the suburbs of low carb, and I sometimes travel into the city for some carbs, and then I come back home. That's kind of what my diet's been.
She picks up a hitchhiker on the way back.
Yeah, basically.
It's
Yeah.
like yesterday we our friend Caitlin. Woo, Caitlin.
Shout out Caitlin.
I sent her she is back home, so we went out to celebrate to get some. What did we get?
Korean barbecue.
Korean barbecue.
Which is fine if you eat the meat.
Yeah, so like Rachel, like she had a little rice, but like mostly meat. Man, I didn't know how we were going to eat all that meat. They were like immediately like, yes, the brisket, bulgogi, and pork belly. And I'm like, y'all realize we got to eat all of this, right?
Hey, not a problem.
And then who was
thing but a chicken
the
wing.
meat vacuum cleaner?
Rachel was the meat MVP.
Yeah,
'Cause
I love that.
I
stuff.
ate my full portions.
I went there with my mom the week prior for Mother's Day, and she was like, "Okay, we'll get some spicy bulgogi." I'm like, "That's it? Did you want the one meat?" She goes, "Well, we're gonna do it with the lettuce and the rice." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that. I need 2 more meats, please. Bring them over. I need more meat."
I need the more meat.
Yeah.
I was thinking about you today because I made myself for breakfast sausage gravy biscuits.
Oh, shut the front door.
And then I was going to buy some sausage and make the bacon because I have beef bacon, and I was just gonna have lots of like meats. But then I was like,
Just gonna go cry.
so I felt like it was like gonna be like a Ginny approved breakfast, like bacon, sausage.
Biscuits and gravy? Not so much. I mean, yes, in my heart of hearts, absolutely. I love making biscuits and sausage gravy. It's delish, but
Speaking of conversation,
makes me sad.
what's this?
Okay,
Here's our thing.
here's the thing. Clearly, we have sourced this from the Books of Faces. This was the hilarious thing that I found. I thought it'd be funny to start the show with. If you are familiar with the DMV, as most of our viewers are, we have lots of, actually, these are all the highways in Virginia. These are not just the DMV. This is Virginia highways. So for here we have 64, 66, and 83 is basically you ain't moving. You dead in your car. You skeleton. You ain't going nowhere.
Nowhere.
Where you going?
Nowhere.
68, 81, and 85 is hillbilly country. They got a classic redneck shirtless with his pickup truck, and it's red. So that's pretty much self-explanatory.
Hey, April.
This part made me laugh though. 95, 295, 695. 695 is mad short too. Like it ain't really.
It's
There
not
ain't a
like
lot to it. But what is this? Like Death Race?
Mad Max.
Mad
Max.
type,
Yeah, you're gonna die on the road. And then we got 70, 395, and 97, which is NASCAR.
parking. Yeah.
NASCAR. That's legit. Like if you don't know exactly what you're doing, you get out of the way because
Out
people gonna
of
be
the way.
smushing you up against the barriers over there. And then 270, 495, 795, 895, and 595. Honestly, 3 of those I ain't even heard of those. But 270 and 495, I can guarantee and verify it is Mario Kart out there.
Insane.
What's that?
It's insane.
Especially if you
Oh,
get
yeah.
like, where I live, it's basically at the Maryland border, so we get like a lot of people from Maryland, and it's legitimately like,
It's bad. When I was in college, I got braces at 19 years old. So I was commuting once a month back home from college. So that was a joy in West Virginia. So we lived 10 minutes from 495. So I would spend 10 minutes on this beautiful scenic road and then spend probably a solid hour between 495 and 270 getting out to the mountains. And of course, once you get past 270 and get on to like 80 and 81, it was smooth sailing. It was just like mountains and green things, and it was beautiful. But 495 and 270,
No.
that junk's a mess. That's a mess.
I will say 66, once you get past like Front Royal and stuff like that, 66 is a nice drive because then you have all the scenic stuff. Even though it's still highway, it's more scenic.
You got to get out there.
Yeah.
So you're a skeleton while you wait to get out there.
66 is. I remember like I love to drive. Like y'all know this about me. I will like one of my hobbies back in the day is I would put like the perfect playlist together. I'd jump on 66 and I'd just choose a direction. Most of the time it was west because that was the fastest way for me to get out to my little baby mountains. They're not hills. People like from out west are like, the Appalachians aren't real mountains. They're just little hills.
Have some
Little
respect,
molehills.
okay? They're the oldest mountain range in the entire world. That's
entire
why they're
world.
so small. They've been rained on for a bajillion lotsness, okay? They're old.
Bajillion lotsness.
They're old.
I like that. Bajillion
The
lotsness.
Himalayas are huge because they're brand new in the
babies.
geological world, okay? So show some respect.
And they're dirty because
We've been round over
been up
here.
there.
We've been round, okay?
Just saying. Anyways, but
I was a geology major in college, so nothing gets me fired up like a good mountain
what were you
conversation.
really?
I have a question.
I was.
What
That's
was
so
your
cool.
plan? What were you going to do with that degree?
Well, I had 2 thoughts. One, here's how it went. Generally,
April's not wrong.
what did April say? I can't.
people are so crazy on these highways
terrible.
nowadays.
They terrible. The plan was I was going to West Virginia, and the drive out there is gorgeous. Okay, and hi, my name's Virginia. I'm interested in pretty much anything. You can sell me on almost anything, and I'll like it. So we're driving out there, and I took a geology course in high school, and it was just the coolest thing, and I loved it. And there's a part of the road that goes out there where you go to the top of a mountain, and right at the top of the mountain, they cut the mountain, they notch it at the top. So you have these like 20-foot walls on either side of the highway of just rock face, and you can see all the different layers that make up the mountain, and you can see how the layers curved up when the mountain was getting smushed. And it just blew my mind. I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. Not to mention, West Virginia University is one of the most beautiful college campuses. It's gorgeous. And the whole thing is on a mountainside. So just between a couple of those things, I was like, this is it. This is the most wonderful thing. And I love staring at them, and they're great. And I think like tectonic plates and all the things that make up the earth, I just find it mad fascinating. So
like, what were
I
you
went
going
with
to
it.
do with it?
I mean,
Was there a plan?
Nope.
Okay.
You were just like, I'm here to
Well-
study rocks because they're pretty.
I mean, honestly, you could sell me on anything. It's like, you want to go like dig out some fossils? Cool, I'm down with that. You want to like get mad money and be like a city planner? I'm cool with that too. Like,
You were just like, geology has so many doors.
yeah, it was cool. I was totally down with it. And you didn't have to like dress, like you think about a geologist, you're not thinking of a suit and tie, you know, you're like in boots and some dirt. And I was like, that's fine. You know, it's casual, low pressure.
LOL. I like it.
Yeah, I didn't really get that far.
I will say, at my community college, the geology class was that and art appreciation were gimme courses. Like you were
yeah.
guaranteed to pass as long as you stayed awake.
Yeah, yeah.
You did it
I
for, like,
really
20 days.
I really enjoyed geology. I also really enjoyed economics, so I took economics 2 levels of it. But it was enjoyable. I loved it, but it was a little bit on the easy end. The teacher was like super chill and like hippie. He was
The
a
thing I
total
love
hippie.
about geology professors is they're just mad passionate. So
Yeah.
they are really into it. I love it.
My course that I took in college like 50 times because I loved it so much, and I took different variations of it.
Was that really the reason?
So yes,
Okay.
actually, it was one of the classes that I like got an A in, like automatically.
Nice.
And that was my sociology class, and I loved sociology, and I took both whatever the 151 and 152 that my school offered. And then I liked the professor so much, I took their criminology class like twice.
Sociology is pretty cool. My professor for sociology was mad cool. And he actually was
Yeah.
like changing the culture of the college, which was awesome.
I had a cool sociology teacher too. I think maybe there's a trend here. Maybe some sociology people are just cool people.
They're just
Well, I
cool
wanted to
people.
be a therapist because I had a therapist at the time when I was a teenager that was her major. She was a sociology major, and then she turned that into clinical social work. So I was like, ooh, I could go be other people's therapist because I was already the therapy friend.
Oh,
So then I was like, I could
I
get
get
paid
you.
for this.
I think about that sometimes with my therapist. I'm like, you sit here and talk to me for an hour and you raking some dough. Like, this isn't bad. And it's virtual, you know? I'm like, this is a pretty good setup you got here.
I dig
We
it.
can conclude that you are false. You are false.
You are false.
LOL. So here's a fun story. Yesterday, my family had a hangout picnic thing with
Nick.
some of their friends from high school, my parents' friends from high school. And we were out in the park for like 4 hours. And then I came home with mad allergies. So that's why I sound weird.
Yeah.
I sound weird from the
Sounds like
allergies.
it sounds like you gargled some muddy river water with some rocks thrown in.
That's really
what?
specific
That
and
is
weird.
a really...
Cause it just sounds like that.
Yeah.
That sounds like one of those Southern sayings that just don't make any sense.
You look like a biscuit that got smothered in something and squished by a car tire.
Exactly. How'd you know?
I was listening to watching this lady's video, and she was like doing like the Southern insults, and she's like, "Sense has been chasing you its entire life, but you are faster."
That's funny. I like that.
Again.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I don't know. Maybe we can throw that into our improv selection
Yeah.
of
Southern
good.
insult
make up fake sayings.
Bless your heart.
Oh,
It
man.
is. What was it is raining out there like sounds like a cat is on a tin roof or something like that. Like there's Southern people come up with the strangest.
Maybe it's just because strange things happen in the South. And then it just
Especially
sticks.
in Florida.
Yeah. There's gators falling from the sky.
Well, like you guys have all been in. Like, have you ever heard like when there's a big thunderstorm happening? Like, oh, the
Yeah.
devil's beating his wife, or like God's
Oh my
doing.
gosh, no.
You've never heard that before?
No.
When there's like
First
big
of all, who would marry the devil? Okay, false. Okay, that's number one.
number one, ill. But like that was like if it was thunderstorming and like the sun was like out partially, it's like, oh, the devil's out there beating his wife. I'm like,
Jeez,
is
that's
she okay? Can we get her some help?
Who would willingly be the devil's wife? That's my question.
Persephone.
Other than a high-ranking
You see,
witch.
April's heard of it.
That's crazy. That's
Or
crazy.
God.
if it's like a really bad storm, it's like, don't go outside, close all the windows, don't go shower, don't turn on the electricity. God's doing his work up there. I'm like,
Well, there is a
What does that have
small
to do with
risk
anything?
with lightning. So they do there. I think now in the safety protocols we have in our houses now that wouldn't happen, but there is a risk if there's a lightning storm and you are actually taking a shower, or there is a small risk.
that lightning could hit your house
could
and
get
run through your
electrocuted.
pipes.
Yes, that you could get electrocuted. That's why they have grounders. Like that's why like places where there's a lot of lightning, they have things on the they attract the lightning bolts and ground it to the ground so that it doesn't hit your house. And
Lightning rod.
I
Yes, a
used
lightning
to
rod.
shower with the window open during thunderstorms for years, and
For what reason?
okay.
because it's
Why the window open?
because the
Because I
sound.
like the sound of the.
Oh, I slept through a hurricane. Fun story.
Wow.
I woke up and there was a hurricane, and I there was literally a hurricane, and I woke up and there was trees down everywhere and like limbs and like you know the kind of storms where it's like trees fall on people's houses and like you're up all night because car alarms are going off because big limbs are hitting
Where
cars.
were you?
Here in Virginia,
Okay.
and we do get the rogue hurricane every now and then. And I woke up and I was like, "What on earth happened?" And my roommates were like, "How have you? Wait, what do you mean? Like you were not up all night with all these crazy?" No, I'm like, "No, I
I
was asleep."
when people are like,
literally slept
she
through a
sleeps so
hurricane.
heavy, she could sleep through a hurricane.
I
You're
literally
like,
slept
I
through a
can.
hurricane.
We did get
Yeah.
that hurricane. When was it? Like around I'm sure it wasn't 2011, but like around about then.
We
Where
got
it
a
was in the
derecho.
summer.
Irene, we
That-
had a big one.
Yeah, it was like in August, and like all the gas stations were shut down, and the power was out in Maryland. Like we were on the Virginia side, so like we lost power for like 2 days. Maryland was out for like 2 weeks. Like
Oh,
it
geez.
was people were flocking. It was terrible.
Was that the hurricane or was that the derecho? Because the derecho did the same thing.
that?
There was a big summer storm that it hit really fast, and it was basically like
No, this was
if
a
there's
whole
a heat
hurricane.
bubble, but it was like hurricane like conditions.
No, but we've had some
Overnight.
hurricanes. My
No,
dad's
this was
got a
one of
bunch
the hurricanes about 7 to 10 years ago.
Here's
Yeah.
a fun fact: since my parents have a beach house in the Outer Banks, every time there's a big hurricane that comes up through North Carolina and Virginia, like a big one, my dad buys the shirts that says like "I survived hurricane," whatever. It's hilarious. And I'm just going through the catalog in my head of like what are the hurricanes on my dad's t-shirts. Yeah,
Yeah.
Irene was a big one. I can't remember. That's why.
Yeah.
I know like the derecho, there was like one it was like 2011, 2012, but my mom was out on a date, and this was before she met my stepdad, and she was out on a date, and so I was home alone with my dog, Jada, who's in heaven now. Anyways, but it's just me and this dog, and all of a sudden I'm like, because I used to go to bed with like my earplugs in, so I'm listening to music, just being probably the absolute most of my little teenage self, and I just hear like what I can only describe as wind that is just moving around the entire house. And as soon as I take out my earbuds, because I'm like, what the heck is that? I hear boom, and like thunder so loud it shook the entire house. So
Oh,
now
yeah.
I'm like proper like, what the heck? The power's gone out. I run out into the living room. Everything's dark. Like the street lights are dark, and it's like purple lightning. And all I can see is like the
Oh, wow.
winds whipping all the trees, and then it just goes black, and then purple lightning, and then blackness. And like lightning struck the tree near my house, and so I just grabbed the 75-pound dog, and I bolt downstairs into the basement, and I call my mom, and I'm like, "Where are you?" She's like, "I'm on my way. The storm just hit. It's fine." But it was like a storm that like porta potty. I had friends in DC who were like, "Yeah, the porta potties were just flying down the street." And I'm like, that must be
yeah.
a terrible
I remember that.
situation.
Yeah.
And we lost power for like 2 days. Like it was not fun.
I know it's happened a couple times. I've been up in this area for like a little over 10 years, and there was several massive snowstorms and like 1 or 2 hurricane or storm events that were like huge.
The year that I got pregnant with the twins, we had that January, we had a huge snowstorm. We got probably 3 or 4 feet of snow in over like 3 days. And I remember there was snow banks piled up 4 feet high, 5 feet high on the sides of the road.
That's
I
crazy.
literally was like running down the street and just diving full body dive into the snowbanks. It was so much fun. It was the best time ever. And then I look back on it and I was like, I was actually pregnant with the twins in that picture. Like just like diving in snowbanks. It was hilarious.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, what do we have to talk about? We had 2 topics.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
We said
Yeah.
Romans 14
Leading into the other one.
into comments.
Comments.
So,
Let's just
like-
talk about comments.
You don't want to talk about the other one?
I mean, whatever. You can do what you want.
We can start with the comments first.
Speaking of comments, put some in the chat. Where's my husband? He's normally in here and he's not in here.
It's okay.
But I abandoned him, so he's probably off husbanding, being a wonderful father.
So we were noodling around, like, you know how Christians are supposed to be, like, you know, the Bible says you'll know you're Christians by your love, and
Oh, this is our serious comment, Paul. serious
love and unity. And Paris is talking about like why is unity so hard for the body of Christ? And we're just noodling this around. And I'm like, yeah, and like, why is it when Christians disagree on things that are what they call salvific or non like salvation core issues, that they get nasty?
Yeah.
They get vicious up in them comments.
And without like bringing attention to like the subject matter, like Rachel and I were looking at a post and it was something that was not a salvation issue. It was just like a general whatever thing. And the way that people were ripping each other up, like claiming to be Christians and are like, you're an idiot. If you actually studied the Bible, you wouldn't be so deceived by the devil. And it's like,
And all the Southern like bad comments of like, oh honey, you just
Poor thing.
bless your heart.
Condescending.
You're
like,
just so ignorant. You just don't know. Like, and it's like, and then it's like, oh, well, I pray the Lord smacks some sense into you. It's like, why are we now having malicious prayers on our neighbors? That's not what Jesus wanted.
oh.
And it's like, there's
We're
something
laying
about,
hands.
there is so much divide. And so like, my point is like, how are we supposed to be called as a body of Christ? Like we talk about global things. Like we talk about going to the nations and bringing change to the nations. And we talk about changing governments and we talk about changing world ideas and getting people saved and all of this stuff. But we can't even agree as a collective body
To be nice.
to just be respectful, to be nice, to have some agreement on some things that you feel like would be basic, but they're not. It's like, not even people who call themselves Christians can all agree that the Trinity is real. Not every person claiming to be Christian, even like, it's just so much.
Do you want to hear my theory, Paris?
Tell me.
So my theory is, it's not even really a theory, it's kind of biblical, but basically, if Holy Spirit is the unifying force in the body of Christ, and he teaches us all things and leads us into all truth, and we're supposed to walk according to the Spirit, not to the flesh, pretty sure that anything that doesn't look like Jesus or Holy Spirit coming out our mouth or our actions is the carnal flesh. Like, it's really kind of one or the other, right? So a lot of the Christians who get caught up in the politics of going back and forth and, fighting over stuff and all of the things, like the Apostle Paul was talking to the Corinthians, and he's like, you guys have the spiritual gifts, but y'all need to get it together. Yeah, And there's a point where it's like, those people are not walking according to the Spirit, as Paul said, and Romans 8, like it's more like they're stuck in Romans 7. They haven't made it to Romans 8, and like 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, and it's really those who've made it into Romans 8, which understand it's like walk according to the Spirit, not the flesh, and that whole concept. Which, if you haven't read it recently, go back and read Romans 8. It's fabulous. Yeah, it's because we're stuck in our own mental gymnastics of our own mental understanding and our own pride and our own carnality. And that's really why there's no unity, because there's really the only way you can have unity in the body of Christ is it has to be supernatural, and that supernatural unity has to be by the Holy Spirit. So when people are not unified, it's because they're not unified in the Spirit.
So Romans 14, speaking of Romans, is one that I think a lot of people just don't read, or they need a refresher. So here's some summation, okay, about Romans 14. It's talking about how there are believers that believe eating a certain thing is good and eating a certain thing is bad, or this thing is clean and this thing is unclean. And it says like, hey, let them. If they think this thing is bad, let them. If they think it's good, let them. It's not our place to say one way or the other.
It's not a sin issue.
Yeah. And it says, who are you to condemn somebody else? So there's a lot of these things of like, who are you to condemn, these people? So then it's like, in the same way that we're not going to condemn people about foods and their thoughts about foods, there are days that somebody thinks is holy and somebody else doesn't think there's holy. It goes on to say that there's holidays that some people think are holy and they want to observe them, and others that people don't. And they're like, well, I think that this holiday should be on this day. And they're like, well, I don't think you should celebrate that holiday at all. And they're saying in all of these things, as long as we're giving thanks to the Lord and we're not trying to live for ourselves or die for ourselves, as long as we're not trying to convert that person into our way of thinking or condemn them for thinking what they do, then we'll be fine and we'll be okay. And it says, this is the part that's a little like smack in the face, is verse 10 says, so why do you condemn another believer? Why do you look down on another believer? Remember, we will all stand before the judgment seat of God. And so we all have to give a personal account to God. So let's stop condemning each other and decide to live in such a way that you will not cause another believer to stumble and fall. And it goes on to say that like in all of these ways that we're supposed to acknowledge our differences, and we're supposed to just, it's not even about acknowledging the difference. It's just like allowing the difference to be there and not trying to control someone or change it. And that is how we're supposed to be in unity and harmony. And so like, as I was reading those things, it really just hit me, because I'm like, oh, okay, so we're learning in the word that like Rachel could be like, pork is the devil, I'm not eating pork. And I could be like, listen, bacon all day. And as long as I'm not trying to condemn her and she's not condemning me and we can be just okay disagreeing on it, then we're cool. Same thing with holidays and Sabbath and all this stuff, right? So it was just this thing of like,
I love pork though, just to
clarify.
clarify.
I know, yeah, no. So it's just one of those things. It's like we don't have to actually agree on the same things, and we don't have to make each other conform to somebody else's viewpoint in order to be in harmony and unity together as a body of Christ.
An attack, like a short way of saying it is, unity does not mean conformity. Like we don't all have to look the same, sound the same, talk the same to be unified. And
somebody told me that like if a friend of Jesus is a friend of mine, and that is, I didn't think, because there are things that like people do in general that I'm like, ugh, well, that's not very Christian like. But it's like, well, if they love Jesus, you love Jesus. Like I'm pretty sure like there's something in is there a verse that says basically that? Like if you're a friend of Jesus, like you're cool, you love Jesus, you follow Jesus.
Jesus did say so the example might be what you're talking about is the disciples came to Jesus tattletaling on some people who are casting out demons. They're like, they're not with us, but they're casting out demons. And Jesus is like, they're not part of our crew. Yeah, they're not part of our crew. And Jesus is like, if they aren't against us, they're for us. If they're for us, leave them alone, basically. He's like,
yeah, so like, and I feel like we even forget, like when we call each other, like even online, because let's not act like Jesus doesn't see you what you're doing online.
Hey, Juanita.
Hey, Miss Juanita. Is the moment that we start disagreeing with each other and then resort to being like, you're stupid, you're wrong, you're dumb, da 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 da. The Bible is very clear on, even if you think bad things about your brother, you are killing them in the eyes
Let's,
of God.
no,
let's go back
no,
to
the
the
phrase
let no
is if you-
unwholesome speech come out of your mouth.
Yes.
We use that for cuss words, but it's also just unwholesome speech.
But to Paris's point, Jesus said anyone who it says a raka or calls his brother,
Oh, a fool.
it actually means fool or idiot. So anyone who calls, Jesus said you're basically murdering him.
In the eyes of the Father. And we know that
Yeah.
there is no sin greater than another sin in God's eyes. Like, it's all sin. So like, you can be like, well, they deserve to be called a stupid idiot. Like, God's like, why are you killing your brother? Why are you murdering him? For what?
Yeah.
And
Life
we
and
forget
death are in the thumbs. And we forget about that. But they're right there.
That's classic.
I like
That's
that.
a new one. I like that one.
But like, we're all going to be held accountable for all the
Yeah.
things that we say, think, like,
Truth.
I think a lot of people don't
Idle words.
understand when Paul, the apostle, is talking about matters of conscience, because like there's clear things that are
Yeah.
sin and not sin, like very clear in the Bible, like the Ten Commandments,
Yeah.
like Jesus said, don't call your brother an idiot, don't lust, all these things, very clear. But there's things that are personal conviction based on your level of how comfortable you feel about your level of Christian holiness. And, that's going to differ from person to person. And to the
But we
point
have
that,
sin.
yeah,
There
but
is sin in that. Yeah.
and to what she was saying in Romans 14, Paul also highlights, he says, look, if someone thinks something is wrong for them to do, if they do it, they're violating their conscience. And then it becomes sin simply because they're violating their conscience.
Yeah. For that
If
person.
and to the point where it says don't cause someone to stumble, it's because if you make someone so uncomfortable and you force them for your convenience to to conform to you, what you believe in, what you think they should do, you force them to conform against their will and conscience, you're literally causing them to sin. And the example Paul the apostle gives is like, hey, if someone believes that they're supposed to be a vegetarian and they're not supposed to eat meat, and you like throw meat in their face and get all up in them like, you need to eat this meat or else, what if they caved to that social pressure and ate some meat? Inside they're like, I feel like I'm doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You
Even just
caused them to
caving to
sin.
the social pressure, even if you're not
Yeah.
forcing it, but you're eating it in their presence at the same table. Yeah, that it's on you.
So there's a whole realm of conscience and personal conviction that we do not have enough grace for each other.
And we also need to understand on the opposite of the grace side, on the serious side, like we need to understand that for ourselves. There are so many things that it's like, oh, well, this isn't a sin issue. It's like, well, for you, it might not be. It could be for somebody. If you, to Rachel's point, Romans it clearly outlines, if you do something that you know to be wrong or you feel like it's wrong and you do it anyway, then you've now sinned.
Well,
and
also, if God tells you a personal directive that's not in the Bible,
yeah,
and you go, like, if you feel like the Lord is telling you to fast for 3 days, for the next 3 days, and then you go and someone pressures you into eating and you're like, well, I really should fast, but I'm going to eat with them anyway because they're making fun of me, or XYZ. Like, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. We're talking about stuff that it's your personal conviction of what you really feel like the Lord is talking to you about.
Yeah.
And we have to leave space for everyone to walk according to that conviction without, making fun of each other or pressuring each other or condemning each other,
or allowing someone else's thought process to allowing you to be influenced by someone. How many times do we hear in church? Like, I feel like it's happened at every church I've ever been to. There's always been some situation where like someone thinks something is wrong or bad and they shouldn't do it. And then someone from the pulpit or someone in leadership or someone who they look up to does this thing or participates in this thing. And then they're like, oh, well, clearly it must be okay because so-and-so does it. And it's like taking out the personal responsibility of your own conviction and what the Lord has spoken to you about.
And it's a growth process because some people might have a religious upbringing and might take them a while to come out of, restriction that's not really God. It's just man-made. But
Harumph. That's what that sigh sounded like, Paris. Harumph.
It's hard to. Anyways, well, that was a fun topic.
We've got the joy down in my heart. Yeah.
But I guess the bullet point takeaway is on social media and just don't be part of the problem. Try to be part of the solution.
That's what Anita's saying. We are created
Many different branches through one tree.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Weren't you saying something, Paris, about you were talking about something about the different denominations of Christianity or something, but we're all in the same.
Yeah, there is, I mean, from Catholics to the many different forms of Protestantisms, there are, we can't even agree when to celebrate, for an example, the birth of Christ. Like, some people want to celebrate it in June, some people want to celebrate it in August, some people want to celebrate it in April.
Some people don't want to celebrate it.
Or at all.
Or
we can't even agree what to do with the birth of Christ, and it's the Julian calendar would tell us we celebrate Christmas or the day that our Savior was born on December 25th, but we can't even collectively as a body agree on that. Unlike when we're going to celebrate the birth of Jesus. And I just think it's just, and we get into arguments about it. Well, actually, if we look at the scriptures and we look at the history of what was going on in old ancient Judea, then actually you have to look at Zechariah's father because he was a priest, and look at the cycles of we do. It's not the Da Vinci Code. It's really not that hard. He's a savior. Celebrate him every day if you want to. You could just make every day was the day that Jesus was born.
I think what you're kind of, to voice it in a word, is it's disheartening.
It is.
When you see the body of Christ fracturing on things that just seem so non-essential and not important.
Yeah.
And then we can't seem to get it together on stuff that are really important. We can't really get together on standing against certain things that we know in our culture that are wrong, or it's
even
just
the outside stuff. We have people who are openly coming out, like James Qualia and James Alateran and Emma Stark and all of these people who are saying, hey, the witchcraft in other parts of the world is serious. The demonic hold in other parts of the world is serious. And we're sitting over here arguing on Instagram on if NASA controls the weather.
I can't believe you would actually post that. You posted that on your feed. I can't believe it.
And it is disheartening because then we do that on Instagram, but then on Facebook we're going to take down the strongholds and the principalities. I'm you can't even take down the demon that's coming through your thumbs when you want to type on Instagram. You can't even handle the Leviathan in your own life. How you going to take on Leviathan over DC? Make it make sense.
They think NASA's controlling the weather. I don't have a lot of faith.
Listen,
we all agreed that I don't know if we all agreed, but I made the suggestion that we should be careful about which exact comments we pull up, because we don't want to find out the people who we're in relationship with if they have interesting thoughts and beliefs that made us feel some kind of way. So it's just
we're trying to stay away from
bliss
specifics.
kind of thing. Yeah, there's a little bit of that.
Respectfully, if you come up to me, you start talking about the aliens that are on Mars, I gotta go. I can't be a part of that conversation.
I'm oh my gosh.
It's whether they're there or not, I don't really care. I'm going on and doing stuff that is
I'm gonna make a cup of
valid
coffee.
to my life.
Talk to you later.
And even if there are, like Kevin Zadai said, so if all of the conspiracy theories are real, like if you look at any conspiracy theory, if they're all real, what does that change about your mandate on Earth? Like, what does that change about what you're supposed to do? Like, you're still supposed to honor God. You're still supposed to. What is the tenets that Jesus said? Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers,
Raise the dead.
dead,
preach
and
gospel.
preach the gospel, kick out
Go make
demons,
disciples.
Love your neighbor.
love
In
your neighbor.
fact, Paris,
I was just
we
gonna
have
say.
a wonderful episode now. It's
We sure
audio
do.
only, but
I don't remember what it's
you
called.
keep
We're pulling it
talking.
up.
I'm gonna look it up. but-
Flashback to life for your soul before it was a video.
Nice.
Podcast. That was great. That was great.
Amazing.
Oh. Well, hey, we could announce. Should we announce our new show?
We can't. Well, yeah. I mean,
It's just.
I was thinking we could announce it because I was also gonna just dead drop it and go and see if anybody noticed.
Oh. Oh.
But yeah, we can talk about
Yeah.
it.
Well, here's a fun fact, ladies and gents. We have a new show, a new program coming to the Sevenfold Theater. We are doing a Saturday YouTube series. It's our first Christian Anything show is our first non-podcast production. This is our first YouTube-specific production. We're doing a Saturday quick show that's called Let's Talk. Right now, it's Rachel and I, but we're going to rope in Paris. She doesn't know it yet.
And possible other co-hosts.
And other people's. But right now, we're just doing a quick little short show on Saturday mornings. This Saturday will be the first one. And it's about topical stuff that we always kind of want to talk about, but we don't really have time to dive into it and whatnot. So like Kundalini spirit and spiritual awakening and like the creepy stuff that's happening on YouTube. We're going to have like short little topical videos where we talk about some of those things. I know. Look at Paris's face.
Because this is news to me.
It is.
We wanted to surprise you.
Surprise!
I hate surprises.
Hey, it surprised me when they came to record it. So I was like, wait, what?
It was a surprise to everybody.
It's good.
It was even a surprise to Rachel and I. We sat down to record a Life for Your Soul episode, and Rachel goes, "How about this?"
Oh,
And an hour later, we had 3 episodes. So
Miss Juanita wants to join.
yeah, so you'll see
Fun
that on
fact.
Saturday morning.
I hate surprises, but I've always wanted a surprise party. But I hate surprises so much that when a friend tried to throw me a surprise party, I was so oblivious to the fact that she was trying to throw me a surprise party. I threw a huge fit and almost ruined the party.
So note to self.
Just as a
Did
so
you find it?
I can't figure out which one it is. So episodes 28, 29, 30, and 31.
Okay.
But it's 28 or 29 of our audio podcast. It was when we did the Don't Fall for That series.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
And there was Don't Fall for That, Don't You Do It. That was episode 28. And then episode 29 is Don't Fall for That Black Hole of Information. And I think that was
Oh,
the
that's
one
the one.
where
Is
we
that the one
talk
about the
about
conspiracy theories?
Yes.
conspiracy theories and all the things.
Yes,
So
because
that
you
was
can
a
just
fun
go down
conversation.
the rabbit hole of
Yeah.
You
looking up
can,
stuff.
but and honestly, like I am no stranger to going down a conspiracy rabbit hole. But it wasn't until I listened to what Kevin Zadai was saying about like how it doesn't change anything, and I was like, because if you know me, I'm legitimately terrified of aliens. I grew up watching alien movies.
How was it with Signs?
You know, now that I'm a Christian, I can watch Signs and see the alleged Christian undertones in the movie.
Yeah. So good.
But there was
freaking me out, man.
there was a movie called The
Good.
Fourth Kind.
Oh, yeah. That one's
And
Pretty
it was
terrifying.
like found footage / it was supposed to
Yeah.
be based off of a true story. But the part that freaked me out when I'm 13 years old watching this in the dark, mind you, there's this scene where the supposed aliens are talking in Aramaic. And there's this part where he's like, "I am God," and like everything goes black. So I was having panic attacks for months, did not sleep solidly for months because I was convinced. I was like, "Oh, well, that's it. All my questions about God have been answered.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
aliens and they're going to steal me and I'm going to get experimented on." And so, like, if you know me, like, aliens are like, that is absolutely like one, like, I'm like, I can't handle it. Like, I don't care. You saw a UFO? It's a lie. It's a demon. I don't care. Because I can't handle it.
Thank you, Juanita. She
We've
got
got a
hooked
shout
on
out
Life for
from
Your Soul.
Juanita.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. She said she got hooked on the show because of that Don't Fall for That series. That's so good.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Oh,
Y'all
that's
should go,
awesome.
go listen.
Every once in a while, we'll go back and we'll do another Don't Fall
and
for
part
That.
1 and part 2 of the 4 Ditches is really good too.
Yeah, the 4 Ditches are
Theme
great.
park one's my favorite.
The theme park one's my favorite too.
We actually tried. We have a few Life Your Soul Rewind, which is us trying to put some of the audio podcasts up on video, which
Oh yeah, that's true.
it was not very successful, but they are some good ones are up there. If y'all
Yeah,
want to check
it's
it out
all
on
a theme
YouTube.
park is on YouTube. Yeah, if you want to just like listen while you do your dishes or something. But
And the other moral of the story is don't let your kids watch alien movies.
my mom told me not to watch the when Goosebumps became a TV show. That was before your time.
No,
But
it
when-
wasn't. I watched all of them. I had all the books. I had the subscription.
My
all
mom
the
was
books.
like, "You're not gonna watch." My brother was into the books, and he was older than me. So when the show came out, they let him watch it. Like the three of them watched it together, mom, dad, and him. But then she was like, "You're not gonna watch it," and she put me to bed. And I snuck out of my room, and I went in the family room behind the couch, and I watched a grand total of about 10 seconds of the show before my mom turned around and saw me and kicked me out. I had nightmares for months over just those 10 seconds.
Oh yeah.
You know, my birth mom let us watch all sorts of scary movies, like all of them. Like I saw The Shining when I was 3. I saw Blade when I was 4. Like all the scary movies, to the point that when I got older and I would watch scary movies, like I would just laugh because I'd seen every scary movie trope there was, and there was nothing that surprised me.
Yeah.
Like I was like, there's gonna be a jump scare in 5, 4, 3. There it is. Like it was.
But isn't that just
so
a
bad.
self-protection mechanism?
I don't know what it was.
Yes, that's what I think. Jacob predicts
Goosebumps.
stuff all the time, and I'm like, you're just doing it so you don't get freaked out.
Well,
That's what's
like
going on.
also,
I
a film
turned the
studies
volume
class
down.
ruined me. Like I took
Oh,
a film
yeah.
studies class, and then all of a sudden I could see every movie trope
Yeah.
there was as it was happening.
How I watch any scary movie is I have I have
You
it on
watch
mute.
scary movies as a Christian? How
I don't anymore.
I do not.
dare you?
I don't anymore. But I would put the closed captioning up and have the sound off. And movies are so much less scary with no sound because, you know, a lot of the anticipation thing is like, da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da, da, da. And yeah,
So
so
true.
it makes it so much more bearable.
There was a
For
video
me.
game that I used to play back in the day, and it was you're in this post-apocalyptic world, and you're just like some big dude with a gun kind of thing, and there's monsters lurking around every corner, and the only thing that made that game genuinely scary was that you could hear the growling noises of the monsters as you were getting closer to them. And if you had just taken that element out of the game, like it wouldn't even be that scary. You'd just be walking around with no one else around doing
It's
nothing.
the sounds that get you.
It
Especially
is the sound to get you.
there was a video game that Jordan and all them would play when they were teenagers, and I'd watch them play, and it was like the Half-Life. Like, and it was just the noises, like, you know, like, ugh. There's some really creepy video games out
That's
there.
why I
people.
stopped
true.
playing The Last of Us, which is basically
Zombies.
a zombie. Like it's basically a zombie, but like
Listen,
as you
nothing's
would
gonna
get
give me
closer, it would be
Nightmares
like,
more than zombies.
and I was like, ah, and I was so on edge like the entire time. I was like, you know what, we're good. We're gonna stop
good.
playing this. We're done.
So here's something funny. We have a couple of cool ideas for improv tonight. We have a couple of new ideas for improv segments. And Paris has been working
Yes.
on collecting some things. So should we pull some buckets?
Sure.
We
I
are
get
in
one
the
from this one and you get-
shenanigans segment, I guess
We're
now.
gonna shenan a little bit. Okay, so what are the first one we can do? Interviews or podcasts? I think they're
Okay.
kind of the same thing, right?
Yes, let's do interviews because that's kind of this bucket. So in this bucket, not that you can see, it will be much more fuller eventually, but you see that there's 2 different colors, and you're gonna pick one of each color.
Okay.
Okay, so the orange one is gonna be like what your person that you're portraying as,
Okay, my person, and this is you.
and then the purple one is gonna be what your person is doing,
oh.
and then so
For the interview?
yes,
Okay.
Oh, okay. So, but you're gonna interview me.
yes,
We'll do it this way. Okay.
Okay, so pretend interview.
I'm gonna okay. I'm gonna try.
What does it say?
Should I show the camera? Is it?
Or,
Do I
like,
keep it a
tell it.
secret from you?
No, like, cause I gotta.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Our first round of improv interviews ever. My character that I am portraying is Southern Baptist choir director. I'm just gonna guesstimate on that one. And then my topic I'm being interviewed on is who is starting World War III?
I think we know who's starting that.
Well, the Iranian president died today, so why don't we go ahead and jump right in?
We started with the.
Sorry,
I
I'm not
actually
laughing
like
at his
this
death.
idea.
It
I'm
was-
glad
it was
we
the,
came up with it. Like we
the who's
collectively
starting World
stumbled
War
across this
III.
topic.
Okay,
idea.
I have my things. All right, I'm ready. I'm not ready. I'm ready for my interview.
Is there a way to put them both up, Paul, without me, so we can see them?
Usually, but not today. Not today.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I get the fake microphone?
Why, you have a real microphone?
Okay. I wanted a prop.
You want the-
You want to use my lip balm?
No. I'll just.
Oh, use the baby hand.
Yes, give me a baby hand.
This tells us who's doing the interview is because you'll have one hand, I'll have one hand. Here we go.
Wrong hand.
It's fine. I have two left hands. I have two right hands.
I'm Katie Smith, back with WWUSA 9, and I am here with Sally Sue. Sally, can you tell us what's happening today?
You know, I was at choir rehearsal and I just heard these loud booms that were just coming, you know, not really in the air, but in the spirit. You know, I was feeling it. But I'm Baptist, so maybe I wasn't feeling the spirit. But anyway, the Lord was talking to me about it. And I think that there's something stirring in the waters over there in the other part of the world.
And
That's
can you
what's
tell us what is the stirring that you're feeling?
Well, I was just thinking Australia's getting into trouble.
Australia.
Yeah, Australia. You wouldn't think it. But Australia's getting into trouble. And they're actually starting a little bit of a civil war situation with New Zealand. Yeah.
Oh.
And, you know, you don't hear about it that often other than like, you know, their female being the leader and she had a baby and that was a whole uproar, you know, but women can do anything. So it was a real big honor where honor is due. Okay. She performs with excellence when she does that job. That's something that at Southern Baptist First of the Southern Sumter, we take that seriously in our congregation. But you wouldn't think it. But here's the funny thing: it's not funny. It's real serious. Because they're so close to each other, you know, proximity wise, they are fighting worse than you think. You just cats and dogs over there. So huge missiles. Just lobbing them like a terrible game of ping pong back and forth between New Zealand and Australia.
Was this a dream that the Lord gave you?
No, I saw it. It's on the news.
And what do you think that this has to do with a little church here in Alabama?
Well, you see, my cousin lives in Germany, but she has a friend who knows somebody who lives in Australia, and so they're pretty close. So they were talking, and she was just letting me know that things were getting real serious down there. And because she's in Germany, you know, they just have a little bit of a different spin on things with comes to the wars and whatnot. And so she was just talking about how like, oh, it's nothing. It's not a real big deal. We know what a big war is. That's not a real big war. And then a whole fight broke out. And so I'm really thinking that there's something there. It's a hot button issue. And yeah, that's what I got.
Well, thank you for talking to
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
about that strange story.
Yeah.
Developments coming in. It appears that now Germany is also getting involved, and I'm hearing that it has to do with the lack of Bluey season 3.
Yeah.
So we will get back to you there. Well, I guess Sally Sue just. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for meeting us today.
Oh, Lord bless you. Lord bless you and keep you. Yeah.
Oh my
Amen.
God.
Hallelujah.
Mighty God. Mighty God.
Listen, I don't know. I don't know.
Rachel.
All right, Rachel, a yellow and
One
a
of
purple.
each.
Yes.
A yellow and a purple.
A yellow and a purple.
I don't know. This is a special time.
That's funny.
All right. Am I the interviewer now?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Walter Cronkite.
Okay. So I have theme park operator.
Ooh. Why did that
And
sound
then-
like Burns?
At first I thought this was like a bigger sum of money. I think it says who borrowed $20, but I thought at first I was going to say $20,000, but
Sure.
Who borrowed $20? Okay.
but we'll do the who borrowed 20 and
I
theme
got it.
park
That's-
operator.
Okay.
Oh Lord. My go-to is an accent.
Well, you're just a theme park operator. You can go any direction you want.
So you gotta be
hold
peppy.
on, hold on.
Theme park
April has a
operators.
thing. We need a game night with these games. You know, we could. We need to think about this, but
A
we could
Tea-Cast
host either a live thing or just a non-live, but an event where we all get together and do all these nonsensical.
Oh, that would be really fun. That would be really fun.
Suggestion. Maybe we will, April. Maybe we will. Stay tuned.
No, that's good. Stay tuned to the end of the show because we have a specific announcement about the summertime. And so we could maybe facilitate some fun things like that in the summer. Okay, so
So what I'm hearing is y'all want in on the action. You can just call us and be on the show. That's also an option.
Oh, that we could totally do that. Yeah.
Okay. All right, hold on. Let me think what my accent is and my character.
You're a theme park operator,
Okay.
so you gotta be peppy.
Peppy?
Yeah.
Okay,
theme
so you
park
want me to be
operators
peppy.
are peppy.
All right, I'll cue you in.
Full of energy.
This
More
is
energy.
Walter
More energy.
Cronkite. We're here tonight live on News Channel 5. And we've discovered that at the local carnival down the street, there has been mass pandemonium over vendor booth money being stolen. Little children are not getting their stuffed animals. Left and right, there's tantrums and meltdowns all over the place. Luckily, we've sourced a man very close to the situation. I shouldn't gender him.
Do I have a mullet? Am I wearing overalls and a mullet?
I'm not thinking that's what's going on in here. His name is Brando. He's gonna tell us Brando's a theme park. He's one of the operators here
Italian on his
on one
grandmama's
of the
side.
shows, and he's going to. So Brando, tell me what has happened. What has transpired here?
Well, I just want to say I'm very honored, very, very honored to be on your interview today. Very honored.
I'm so glad to hear from you.
It's been stressful. I'll just say it's been stressful. It's been quite the event. So well, there's been a debate. So we cast lots to try to find out who took the $20.
Wow.
And then that was fruitless. So then we did the short straw. And that did not work either. No one would fess up. No one would fess up.
What happened?
Well, we were getting down to the wire on time because, we have to open at noon for the kids. Well, the kids are going to cry. They
Yes.
need their rides. They have their tickets in their hands.
Interesting.
And it was getting late. And so I put a plea out. I said, fellow employees, friends, and family of the carnival, we must come together and we must solve this problem ASAP. And then I had tears coming out my eyes. I was emotional. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I was emotional because
You
I
heard
was
it here
like,
first.
we cannot open the till with this money missing. And I said, look, anyone who's willing to come forward, I will forgive you. It's okay. You won't lose your job. I just need that $20
What
back.
response did you get?
Well, the tears worked.
Okay.
Little Jimmy, he just got a job. He's 16 years old. He got a permission slip from his parents to work at the carnival. And he slowly raised his hand.
Wrong hand. You get the little...
He's
No, no.
he slowly raised his African American hand.
The plot thickens.
No, he slowly raised his hand. He said, Mr. Brando, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't steal the money. I was just borrowing it.
Oh.
I needed that $20 to pick up my mama's medicine.
Did he leave a note?
He did, but I didn't see it. So apparently he had written a note saying, I owe you, pay by 3 p.m.
Oh, I see.
But he stuck it under the ones, and I didn't see it.
We don't count that far.
But I told him, okay, I will stick to my word. You're not fired. You can't do that again. I said he has to take the human resources course all over again, because it's just unacceptable. And I told him next time you come straight to me, and I happened to have $20 in my pocket,
Generous.
and I gave it to little Jimmy, and I said, you keep it,
What an act.
and you give this to your mama, and don't worry about paying it back.
Ladies and gentlemen, heart-wrenching, twists and turns, unbelievable. But now we know what has happened. Do not give Jimmy a hard time.
And it's okay because the carnival opened on time. And we're
Thank
here
you.
for the next 3 weeks. So y'all come on down, get your funnel cake and your ice creams.
Cotton candy's on sale for the rest of the
Yes.
afternoon as recompense. Thank you very
Yes.
You're the one who was supposed to borrow the $20.
So,
I don't know. It just said who borrowed.
April, the thing is
I thought
this
who,
is a
like,
mic.
question.
I know I have a mic right here, but
the
improv
operator
requires
who borrowed.
Oh, I thought it was a murder, like one of the murder mysteries, like who done it. I thought it was who.
dude? That's what I thought too.
Who?
Okay, so
I gotta
Paris.
know.
All right, Rachel's gonna be the interviewer. Paris is gonna be the character. You need a prop when you do improv. So
Yes.
if I did this, I
We need
have
to
to
buy
like
more
hold this
props.
microphone, but it doesn't.
This is
Oh
my
no.
It's gonna be good. We got the squeals out
Mics though. What's the mics though?
because I was
A
using the hand as a
possessed
microphone.
person.
A possessed
A
person.
possessed person.
Oh
It's gonna get good, y'all.
Who is trapped in
Shit.
a chocolate factory?
Share it with a friend right now. Whip out your phone. Get on YouTube at the Sevenfold. We are getting possession in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. You heard it here first.
Hi, I am Cindy Sanctuary with WGTW, and we are live. There is a emergency developing right now. We are on this story first, everyone, and we are lucky because we tapped into a live feed. Guys, we have the live feed into a developing story. There is a chocolate factory in Canisville, and this chocolate factory has been taken over by a possessed person. There is someone running wild within the facility, and we have a live feed tapped into their security system right now. And so what we're going to do is I can't really interview this person. They're possessed, but we're going to tap into this live feed right now, and we're going to show the live footage of what's going on developing on the chocolate room floor. Okay, handing it over. Tapping in right now.
Let me out. Let me out. What is this? Is this chocolate? I don't like it. I want Laffy Taffy only, but we don't have Laffy Taffy. I still want it.
Oh, wait. New development. We now have the tap feed of the negotiator. The negotiator is now speaking over the intercom to the possessed person. Virginia, we're tapping in right now to the live feed of the negotiator right now.
Now listen, is chocolate dangerous for you? Are you feeling harmed by the chocolate being around?
What is this? I don't like it. Who are you?
I'm just a friendly neighborhood person that is here.
It is the chocolate. It was made by a holy man. I cannot taste it.
I see. So what if we just take a step back from the chocolate? We actually might.
Chocolate factory.
we may be able to find some Laffy Taffy on the outside. If you'd maybe be willing to come
I can't.
on the outside.
Willy Wonka won't let me go.
Do you see Willie here now?
Is Willie here in the room?
Okay, new development. Apparently negotiations soured quickly. And the SWAT team came in with guns blazing. They have subdued the perpetrator. And they're now, as you can see, they're now putting this person into the truck and taking them off right now.
Oh my gosh, Aurelia, great time to walk into the show.
Possessed person.
We are doing improv news interviews where we've been given our character and what has happened. It's been great. Rachel pulled us into that one. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that was funny.
That was hilarious. Should we do this one? What is this one? This is the podcast?
No.
Okay, Paris is going to tell us. We have a new improv segment.
Are scenarios, and we have to improv a podcast together.
Yes. Group
What's
improv.
on the thingy.
Okay. I'm excited. Look, my hand's in the screen. Okay, this is our...
Just one?
Yes, this is our group. This is a podcast. We are now hosting a 30-second podcast. That's maybe 60 seconds. Where... What? What? Is this a podcast?
Wait, what does it say?
Is this a podcast?
I think so. What does it say?
I think this is more of a scenario. Okay,
me see,
we are now actors.
Well, some of them I have
in
to
the
explain.
scenario. We are caught in a time loop in a restaurant.
Okay, so it's just a scenario now.
No,
Okay.
we have to. Okay.
Caught in a time loop in a restaurant.
Yes, but
I'm
we
not-
have to
I'm
make a
not making this
podcast
up.
off of that. 30-second podcast.
Is
but
the
being stuck in
podcast
the loop.
talking about the time that we
Or
got
is the
stuck?
podcast in the restaurant in which we are stuck in a time loop? Okay.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Okay. All
Dear
right.
God, I don't know if we can pull this off.
All right, this is Americana Pies. Welcome back, everybody. We're at a new diner this week. We have heard that the cherry blackberry crumble at this place is phenomenal.
It's to die for.
It's so good. So that is what we're here this week. I know it's not normal that we're in Ohio, but that's where we are. So yeah, we're gonna try this out. This stuff and I feel like, okay, guys, we're trying out cherry blackberry crumble in Ohio. It's super weird, but listen, let's just dive right into the show. Share, could you tell me? Could you tell us what's going on? Like, how's the vibe in here?
Oh, the vibe is so vintage.
You're on the podcast too. Okay.
I'm having so much fun.
I don't know how we're supposed to loop every 30 seconds. We're just saying the same thing over again. Pie? Can we get some pie? This service here is really just kind of so-so. I feel like I've asked for pie like 3 times. It's not really coming.
I'm kind of like confused. I feel like my memory's going, what's my name again?
Share.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're in Ohio.
Yes, Ohio.
Yeah.
And there was some blackberry pie, right?
And cherry, yeah. It's a crumble.
Yes.
Yeah, we're together.
And I was just about to say that it's like super vintage vibe in here, right?
Yeah, it is super vibey.
Yeah.
Really.
It's super vibey.
Yeah. Okay, we're no more time loops. No more time loops.
No more time loops. Wow,
That was fun. You're
Oh my gosh. Oh
fun
my
for
gosh.
you.
Okay, we'll do one more. This is two. All right, this is two. They're 2 friends. Paris and Rachel are 2 friends,
What?
and a poison food tester.
You're the poison food tester.
Wait, what?
What? How do we have a
Like a
podcast about
king.
2 friends and a poison food tester?
Like, we're the 2 people on the podcast, and we're interviewing you, our poison food tester.
Okay, that's weird.
Oh, that's a very interesting career choice. Okay.
I was hired by the emperor in the 5th dynasty, and he did not trust anything that was made for him, and it became my royal duty and honor to try the food to make sure he didn't die.
Oh wow.
Had some close calls.
Was that a family position? Like
There has been many generations. Yes, it's
Okay.
been long held. Yes.
so it's a family business, you could
Yes,
say.
yes. We actually have a property high in the mountains because sometimes we need to be secluded. Not everything is poisonous, but some things are precarious, and it's just better for people not to be around.
Would you say that like this pays well, or like?
I mean, really, the honor you get serving him is the payment. And you don't want for food because there's a constant stream of food to be tested. So it's actually a little bit of a problem. There's an exercise gap that's needed because that doesn't really need testing. So if I just need a little bit more free time, a little bit more me time, to just work out some of these things.
That's really fascinating. Now, what
Yes.
I've heard, but I'm talking to the expert right now. So, I have heard that the truly elite poison testers that they consume small amounts of poison on a regular basis to desensitize themselves to the poisons.
Yes.
But then would that skew your results because
Unfortunately, yes.
so you
Yes.
can't really
We
do
have
that?
One of our listeners has a question for
Yes.
you. How often do you get sick?
On a good basis, it's about once a month. His royalty here, his highness, he is just the magnificent. He has many enemies. And unfortunately, the background checks in the palace are horrendous. There's lots of attempts on his life. Thankfully, though, we also have an accompaniment of dogs that sniff out the particularly poisonous ones. So often those will make it through the screening. So by the time it gets to me, it's a bit questionable. So the sickness happens a lot, and yes, I cannot desensitize the palate with the poison. So it needs to be clean. It needs to be
Is
clean.
this a line of work that you feel like that your children would want to go into? Would you?
Oh, I mean, only one of them could be chosen. And so unfortunately, the remaining 11 of my children would really need to probably just help whoever is doing it. There's lots of support is required. And maybe if they'd be lucky, they could train the dogs that would sniff the poison. But it's truly a family business, but there can really only be one in the seat of honor.
Do you
No.
feel?
What is the average lifespan for someone in this position?
There is a bit of a degradation from the slow poisoning, even, a bit. So for most, it's about 45. I've made it. I'm looking forward to 50. I'm at 45 now, and I feel like I have a good another maybe 7 years or so. Yes, the doctors have been excellent trying to keep me on track because his royalness, he really appreciates my specific giftings, so he wants to try to keep me around a bit.
Now,
Yes.
do you ever resent this emperor for having so many enemies and putting you at risk? I
It's
mean,
an excellent question. Yes, I have not pondered on it much, really, but it is a heavy job, and someone needs to do it. And so, I just imagine if I was in that position, how thankful and happy I would be to have someone like myself, on staff all the time. So it just really,
do you feel appreciated? I mean, you
Oh,
said that
yes.
you don't get paid.
Yeah, no, but the look on his face, knowing that the food he's get, it's been tried. Right? This is something that other technologies could just never replace. That personal connection of knowing he can look in my eyes, and I can say, "I've got you." Yeah.
I heard that the next country over was developing a new technology that would put your profession out of business.
I mean, it might destroy the dogs, but not me. No, not my line.
Our listener says that you just sound so hopeful.
Well, you know, you get really used to the mountain views and the morning air, and so you really just have to just appreciate every moment you have, because it could be your last. You never know. It's really the only outlook to have.
Wow, this has been so informative.
Yes,
I am
thank you.
so glad that you came out of your busy schedule to come meet with us today.
Yes, thank you.
It was just a rare treat.
Thank you.
Rare treat. It's
I'm
been
hoping
amazing.
that I have some children left when I come back home, because they had to fill in my stead while I've been away on this show. I am thankful for the break and the constant barrage of food, but you know, I'm hoping that they've developed some kind of a genetic immunity or something that
Well,
they'll
you
be
have
okay.
11 kids. You can always make more.
Yes, well. That's where the brain stops. The brain stops.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Oh my god. These are gold. This is a new thing.
Jacob, that's my wife.
Oh, now you show up. Oh, that's funny.
I love Paris. You have 11 children. I mean, you can always make more.
Yes,
JK.
well.
That would have been a good time to be like, no, my wife has died of poisoning. There's no more children.
We're children.
Mighty God.
Oh gosh. Well, now's as good a time as any to announce we have a different summer schedule coming out this year. This year.
We
This
love
summer.
you all, but there's changes happening in the wind. Like school is being let out and schedules are swapping around. So
Changes.
we are going to do a reduced schedule. We're still gonna keep plugging. That's what I'm trying to
Plugging,
say.
trucking.
Keep
Now we have
trucking.
new improv segments, so we gotta work this one out.
So you
But
want
yes.
to lay out the
Yeah,
dates
so
and times?
next Monday is Memorial Day. So we are actually taking a 2-week break from the show. So next Monday, Memorial Day, we're off, as well as June 3rd. Coming back June 10th, which is the week that a lot of the kids are out of school or getting out of school that week. We will be back on June 10th. And then starting there, we'll be doing an every other week schedule for the summertime until the first week of September. We will be back at it every week, every Monday here in the studio. It will give us some time to do some fun things. We've talked about recording some sketches or some improv skits and then actually like compiling it, curating it, and putting it on the show. That'd be fun. The great idea with you guys with the calling in and doing some improv games and stuff, like it'll give us a little bit of extra time to play around with some of these ideas. But yes, we are going to have a reduced every other week schedule starting June 10th.
Yep. But we still love
Yeah.
y'all.
We'll put a note out on the YouTubes, and we'll
Yes.
keep you guys updated. But that is what we've got as a big update for the show for the summer.
And then the other update is we're calling it Let's Talk. I think that's the name. I think we've decided that's the name, but that it's going to be a shorter topical conversation show on Saturdays. So
A Saturday
keep
mornings.
an eye out for those.
Yeah, Sevenfold Saturdays.
Mm-hmm. It's got the
yeah.
S and the S, that alliteration. So
We
sweet.
love alliterations. That Southern Baptist choir director in me really loves those alliterations. Yeah. So that'll come out on Saturday. So keep an eye out on it. And we have, of course, Life for Your Soul coming out every week on Tuesdays. And tomorrow's Tuesday.
Yes.
We have an episode coming out tomorrow,
do.
which is fantastic. Master your emotions and grow in your spiritual self. That's not the title, but it's close.
Close enough. What was the premiere time you said that to?
I have set that to 10 a.m.
Okay.
10
So
a.m.
it'll be
tomorrow.
premiering tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Yes.
All right.
Put your notification bells on.
Notification bells.
Bells on.
Well, thank you for hanging out with us tonight and staying the whole show. And
Make sure you go back to the beginning if you tuned in late. And Paris killed the intro rap this time. So go back and listen to that. Yes.
Yep.
MC Queen P. I failed.
Maybe we could do a whole like music video rap thing if we could.
Yes. Let's do it.
Oh, I think we need a much bigger
need,
production
like-
budget.
Nah, Paul's already got the camera. We're
I need
good.
somebody else to have a rap name and like come up with like a rap jingle so then we can have like rap beef. because
like a,
We could just come up with a fictional rapper that's
like a
your
fake rap
nemesis.
beef.
Yes.
That would be really funny.
Anywho,
Love
well,
it. Love you guys. It's been great.
oh, I didn't do my thingy.
Go for
What'd
it.
you do?
I'm not,
Go
I'm not
ahead,
shutting
go
you
for
down.
it.
The thing with the where's the thing?
What thing?
Producer man Paul, I need the QR code.
Oh, it's her duty.
oh yeah, we can.
It's her sworn oath at the end of the
There we
show.
go.
Yo, so if you like the show, yeah, and you want to support us
In it.
by getting us a little money in it, you're gonna, scan that QR code and pass us some dollars, fam. So, the ministry is a registered 501c3 in it. So, scan the code or go to the website, yeah, and click the donate button and send us some dollars.
So we can afford more baby
You know
hands.
what I heard on a YouTube channel today? This guy opens this YouTube video and he goes, "Hey everybody, this video is sponsored by no one. So like and share and comment on this video." Like genius.
And yes, like and share and comment on this
And
video.
also, if you don't want to, if you can't, if you just don't want to, yeah, you don't want to support the ministry by giving us dollars, you don't want to give us the pounds, man. We
quid.
understand. Do though, like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bells, get the notifications on.
and share with a friend.
Don't forget from last time, what you're gonna do, you're gonna go to the shorts, you're gonna double click, scroll, double click and scroll, double click and scroll. Yeah, it really boosts our engagement, man.
In it, bruv. Love you, bruv. We out.
So apparently you're a British rapper.
Yes.
Which makes it so much even better. It just
Fell.
makes it that much better. P.I. fell, yes. Yep. All right. Counting down in 5,
Man, them gotta let us go,
4.
man.
4,
3. Pick number 3, my lord.
2,
Number 3, my lord.
1. Take us
out.
out, Paul.